All right, guys, I'm going to take a look at looking at the Bronco nasty defense. You guys may end up calling it Bronco or nasty. I'm not really sure, but I was talking with Coach Jonathan Whitlow and looking to work with him and get some ideas down on paper, on video, so that you guys can review. These are general defensive keys. I'm not going to take you through that, but every football team is using something like this for the most part. The coaches will dictate how that goes specifically to the defense, specifically to maybe formations, or may have just blanket or general rules that you follow as a whole. But typically, most defenses are at least somewhat adaptive. You got to be adaptive because you don't know what the defense is doing. Pause that, take a look, and then just know exactly what your defense is asking you to do whenever you are reacting to a formation, to a play. So here we go. This is Bronco Nasty. This is looks like a 5-man surface, and it is a 5-man surface, but the personnel that we have up here are 2 defensive ends and 2 interior defensive linemen. You've got a tackle, 2 tackles actually, but that A stood for an adjuster in our defenses. We would use that adjuster to drop back sometimes. We'd sub in a linebacker. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But what happens right here is that whenever you have a tight end surface, the nickel right here is going to attach and be in a 7 technique. And I think he's probably going to be in a 7 technique most of the time in this defense. And we'll talk about how to reconcile or adjust to trips, surfaces, be that 0x3 or yo 0x2. But what happens right here, we're looking at, this is a fast flow. And I was talking with John. I'm not sure how he wants to do this exactly. He's thinking that primarily if you get flow to you, you're gonna fit your gap or fill your gap right now as a linebacker. I would recommend that one for the nickel, and he's playing like an outside linebacker or defensive end. I would always recommend him going to the tight end side. So right here we have one tight end, Yo-Yo Roger. I would say, hey man, you need to go to the tight end side. This is the strength call. We'll get into other strength calls in a second. The tight end's to the right. So therefore, I'd have the Sam going to the strong side and then the Will going weak. The Sam is in a strong 30 technique. It's a 3, but he's off of the ball, so therefore we say 30. Toes probably about 2 to 3 yards, going to be a little bit closer. The same for the Will, but he's in a weak 30. And your safeties are going to be playing, I would say, about 2 and 7, very close to the box. So don't think about this as a 7-man box. This is really more like a 9-man box. But there's flexibility with who's going to be coming down and playing in the run. For this fast flow, if you get flow towards you, the Sam linebacker, in this case, he is fitting his gap. So you need to understand what your key is. The coaches will talk about this I formation. We're going to be looking, as a general rule, near back to far back. I formation is a little bit easier. So everybody's going this way. Everybody looks like fast flow. In this situation, we're going to fit this gap. And this is the response from this Camo bomber. So what happens in this is that the safeties and the linebackers are working together. All of them on both sides. If flow is to me, we're fitting that gap right now. This is the field player. Maybe later on, coach changes that, says, listen, if we get fast flow, we want to scrape, and that's why we have this here. But for this situation, if flow is to us, we're going to feel right now. Boom! It's like it's a blitz. It's a flow blitz read. If I'm saying that right, flow is to me. Boom! I'm going right now, and so in that case, the strong safety or the play side safety is coming down to replace that linebacker. We're not replacing them exactly in this situation because this is a fast key. He needs to be coming down, checking the tight end if you have one. He does. If that tight end is releasing, I got to say, man, this is potential pass. This is my curl to flat zone that I need to get into if it's play action. But this is the fit for the run. We have feel, outside spiel, backside spiel, and this is the rotation. Safety is trailing. If we get past, he's now getting into his deep third. Corners are in deep third to both sides. So this is very aggressive with 2 under and 2 over in coverage. And we're saying that if this guy's releasing, The nickel's coming fast. This needs to be a really good guy. He's coming too. So pressure's coming right in your face, and hoping that we can get there and disrupt any kind of pass before it takes place. If you want to look at the rules, and something that I didn't talk about is that everybody on the backside, apart from the interior defensive line, they're in a trail position. So if the run action is going away from me, well, we know that football is tricky. You're going to get counters, you're going to get bootlegs, and you're going to get reverses. So if this run action is away from me as a defensive end, in some cases it'll be the nickel, but in this case, if it's away from me, I got to understand I'm in a trail position. Play the techniques that you're supposed to play up front, but from a response to the trail position is I got to check for bootleg. Did he fake the toss and now the quarterback's running it just because the action looks away? Are they trying to trick me? So I'm looking for bootleg, I'm looking for counters, and I'm looking for reverses coming back. So as I'm playing this play and I realize it's away from me and I'm in a trail position, trail positions are this end, this wheel, this safety, and this corner. They all must be looking as they're pursuing for that bootleg, for that counter, and or for that reverse, because the offense is trying to get us caught with our hand in a cookie jar. And this is it. I won't spend time. You want to pause it, take a look. This has more descriptions, but this is just it with the words plugged in. Not going to take you through this. This is exactly the same, but now we have yo lucky. So we got yo, yo, yo. We got to identify the surface first thing. Do we have a tight end? That means yo Roger, yo lucky. If we have two tight ends, we can say heavy. That means there's two tight ends. And if there's no tight ends, then we say gone. That's how we used to identify the surfaces in my defenses, in our defenses. So here it is now with full flow. So flow in both cases that we've looked at has been to the right. In the first one, we had fast flow. And this one, we have full flow. So we had 4 flow types that we identified on defense. We had fast, we had full, we had hard, and we had split. Not sure that you guys will get past flow right or flow left, and that's perfectly fine. But fast flow meant that we had some kind of toss action, we had jet action, we had sweep action going to one side or the other. So we might have linebackers reacting differently in those situations. They may be fitting their gap or they may be scraping depending on what type of defense we were running, at least the play side linebackers. Hard flows, we had a dive threat with a potential pitch or throw, and then split flows means we had a counter and or there could be a situation where a running back's going one way and the quarterback's going another in like a zone type of read situation. But anyway, we're responding just about the same way as we did a while ago on the fast flow. Going to fit that gap that we were assigned. But now instead of the safety, remember we're reading near back to far back. Excuse me. Now, whenever it's shotgun or different formations, the coach is going to tell you how to. Excuse me. Coaches will tell you how to read that and how to identify what you're looking at and what your read keys are. So this is exactly the same for everybody. Again, Camo Bomber, and there may be situations that you're not fitting the play right now. This is a post-snap run read, very aggressive blitz read keys depending on the flow, post-snap safety rotation, depending on the flow. But this is exactly the same as the toss sweep that we saw a while ago, except for now the safety's not coming down to the outside or the alley defender. He's coming down now, and he is playing play side spill. We have backside spill. This is the field defender because he's the play side linebacker. So it's essentially the same thing for everybody.
Maybe on it, we're gonna.
And if you need to take a look at that again, here we go. We got field or scrape. We talked about that. Depending on we have fast flow, now it's full flow. Again, your coaches may tell you we want flow right, flow left. And that's just how we want to play it, and that's perfectly fine. Backside spill, play side spill. And again, we have the same thing just to the opposite side. Something that we have now, we have the weak side. They're running to the weak side. They're running away from the tight end. It's all exactly the same. Again, we have fast flow. Coach is going to decide if we have, flow right, flow left. We're going to respond this way. May add in the wrinkle if it's fast flow. But as a general rule to start, we got flow left. It means the wheel's going to blow up that gap. Safety's coming down. Read keys near to far. Everything's left. So here we come. These two guys are coming. We have backside. We have trail and backside spill. Here's our rotation from the other safety in this case. Allows you to play very aggressive to the run key. Super hyper aggressive to the run key. Here it is with the wording. But talking about guys wanting to play with their ears pinned back, even if it's a pass, it's pretty safe. 2 under, 3 over top. It's just very aggressive to whatever that run key is. So as a coach, if we say, man, we can pretty much count on it here, or we can count on it there, and you have to decide too. If you get caught in between, if it turns out to be counter, we've identified near to far. Are we going to stick with it, or are we going to retrace our steps, get to more of a neutral defense, a neutral situation? That's for the coach to decide. Here it is again, just weak. And now with that full flow going weak. And this safety's wrong. He should be play side spill stemming up just right here. And with this backside linebacker, in the case is the Sam right here. So we have that field player, and we've got backside spill, and we should have play side spill right there. So that's a typo with the diagram. And nothing included in here, but then you have to talk about again how you're going to handle trips. Trips be that yo 0x2. I'm sorry, yo 2x1, or gone 3x1. Both of those are a trip situation, but one the tight end's connected and the other one it's not. I think it's best to keep that nickel always coming. And if there's no tight end in the picture, I'd tell that nickel to say, hey, inside, just tell that inside. You're going to go inside in this case. Take away the big gap. He's coming off the edge. And if there's a number 2 receiver out here, or whatever the case is, he can walk out on the number 2, match up number 2. Or rather, I'm sorry, the safety could match up number 2. Free safety is going to rotate. That could be a situation when you get into a yo 2x0, 2x1, or a gone 3x1 that you say, we're going to run red sky. We can pick up that later. But those are very easy changes to make. I think you can play cleanly and fast. You can basically play football exactly the same way. But that's a pretty base crash course of how to run the Bronco Nasty with the Camo Bomber run keys. And we can pick up later on with the variations for trips and so on and so forth.